an embarrassment of riches. It's an apt way to describe Florida State's situation at running back in 2023. Let's take a deep dive as to what Florida State's running back room looks like right here, right now on Warchant TV. Everything begins with starting running back Trey Benson. Benson enters his second year in the program in Tallahassee with sky-high goals and sky-high expectations. By midseason last year, Trey Benson had established himself as the lead man in Alex Atkins' offense, and he hardly looked back. If rivalry game performances separate the good Noles from the all-time greats, then Trey Benson is on his way to at least be in that all-time conversation. Just listen to these numbers from 2022. In Florida State's games against Clemson, Miami, and Florida, Benson touched the ball 45 times and produced 384 yards of offense and 5 touchdowns. Just immense production from the rising redshirt junior. Despite that breakout season, though, Benson's game is not fully formed. One offseason detail that he's working on is to be more decisive. When Trey Benson struggles, it's largely due to either being hesitant or looking to bounce something outside to make a bigger play happen. Position coach David Johnson threw the gauntlet down this offseason, cutting up a series of clips of game film to show Trey where he could have been better. By Coach Johnson's estimation, Trey Benson left between 300 and 400 yards of offense out on the field. The message from coach to player was simple. Use your 221-pound frame to assert yourself, run guys over, and be more decisive. And even with these issues, Benson produced 980 yards on the ground, half a season as a starter, and still some things to clean up in his game. So what could he do with a 12-game slate as the number one guy? It's not crazy to think that Benson could push past that 1,500-yard plateau, which, for context, only one Seminole in program history has eclipsed 1,500 rushing yards in a season. Want to guess who that is? Dalvin Cook. That's right. He did it twice, with the program record for single season being 1,765 rushing yards. If you're enjoying this video, please hit the thumbs up underneath and subscribe to Warchant TV. It's absolutely free, and every time you take one of these steps, you help us find more FSU fans who are looking for the best coverage in the business. And that's what we provide at Warchant TV. Thank you so much for your support. Much like a defensive line, keeping a healthy rotation at running back allows for more players to go max effort throughout the game. So next up for FSU in terms of seniority would be redshirt junior Lawrence Toafili. Lauded for his ability to be the Swiss Army knife of the offense, Toafili caught 26 passes for 268 yards last season and was a matchup nightmare for opposing linebackers. This offseason, Toafili's bulked up a little bit, now standing at 6 foot even, 191 pounds. He also showed the ability, did Lawrence Toafili, to run a little bit more straight ahead and tougher between the tackles. This has been a couple of years in the making, but now with Trayshawn Ward departing Florida State over to Kansas State, there is a need for Florida State to have a straight ahead runner to complement Trey Benson's style. Perhaps Toafili could be that player this fall. Up next, redshirt freshman Rodney Hill. Hill turned in a pair of touchdowns in the spring showcase back in April, capping off what was an impressive spring camp. The Statesboro, Georgia native has breakaway ability, and he also has a knack for creating time and space and making guys miss in a phone booth. Though there were some ball security issues towards the end of camp, that's something to keep an eye on for fall if Rodney Hill has an issue with the fumbling. There is no doubt that the redshirt freshman is going to get his crack to show what he's all about in 2023. Transfer running back Keziah Holmes is one of the X factors for the offense. Here's a player who early in spring camp showed that he was unafraid to lower his shoulder and make a name for himself. Keziah Holmes is a transfer from Penn State who arrived on campus last fall, had to sit out the 2022 season, but he did make some noise on the scout team while he was waiting his turn. Holmes is not only a bruiser, there's more to his game, but again, we're looking for more information and we want to see what Keziah is all about as things develop in the fall. Then one of the best stories of 2022, both on the field and off the field, was the return of walk-on CJ Campbell. Campbell was injured earlier in the year, a serious leg injury that looked like it was going to keep him out for the entirety of 2022. But that's not what happened. Instead, Campbell returned for Florida State against Georgia Tech, rushed for 23 yards and a touchdown, and then he followed it up with a rushing touchdown in Florida State's 45-3 drubbing of the Hurricanes. CJ Campbell is one of the team favorites in the locker room, and that's not code saying that he's not up to speed or up to par as a Power 5 running back. This guy is a player. CJ is able to do whatever you need. Run the ball, catch the ball out of the backfield, pass protection. If there's going to be a need and a pinch for Florida State out of that running back room, CJ Campbell is capable of handling that task. And as for incoming freshmen, 4-star recruit Sam Singleton will enroll this summer. The 5'10", 180-pounder has football production out the yin-yang, but also he's a two-sport athlete. He's a track star. He ran the 100-meter in under 11 seconds, 10.88 to be precise. This is going to be an interesting weapon for Mike Norvell to use in future seasons. We'll see if there's enough garbage time for FSU to get Singleton on the field as early as this year. In short, the 2023 Noles have options galore in the backfield. All these players can catch the football, they can all run, they can all do different things in terms of their style of running, and if Mike Norvell's track record holds in 2023 true to what it's been in years past, every one of these players are going to get a crack at producing. Now, with all those options come fun questions. So we put together a poll question for our members over at Warchant.com. After Trey Benson, who would you entrust to be your second running back this fall in terms of who would get the second most carries? Over 300 members responded to the poll, and Lawrence Toafili took down the bulk of the vote. In fact, Lawrence Toafili took down nearly 65%, 202 votes, 64.1%. Rodney Hill was the second significant answer at nearly a quarter of the voters who say that Rodney should get the second most carries. One top opinion on the boards came from member Seminoles72, who said he loves them all, but just one small item, that Rodney Hill actually runs most similar to Treshaun Ward. While a couple of other members weighed in and said that Lawrence Toafili would be the guy because of experience, been there and done that, the Murph answered this way, which we liked. I went with Rodney Hill because I think Toafili's carries will be watered down by his receptions, the screens, the flares, the rail routes, etc. It's a very good point as well. Again, for interactivity with FSU's largest fan site, the most amazing community of FSU fans on the internet, head to warchant.com today. Join us, and we will see you on the boards. Remember, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up underneath what you're watching right now. You see that thumbs up? Every time you click it, it helps us find more FSU fans who are looking for the best coverage in the business. That's what we provide at Warchant TV, and we are so glad you stopped by. Stay tuned for more coverage about the transfer portal, the recruiting class of 2024, developments as FSU marches towards that Sunday night tilt in Orlando against LSU. We've got you covered head to toe on Warchant.com and Warchant TV, and if you love a deep dive discussion of Florida State sports, be sure to check out in the podcast feed The Jeff Cameron Show, which I am on with our own Jeff Cameron, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 1 to 3 on Warchant TV live and also in your podcast feed. And Wake Up Warchant with our own Aslan Hajavandi and Corey Clark as they break down all things FSU every morning right directly to where you get your podcasts. For everybody at Warchant.com, we express our thanks that you stopped by and watched this video. If you enjoyed it, come back for more. This is Tom Lang with Warchant TV, and we will talk to you next time on your ultimate Seminole Sports Source.